Alright, in this tutorial we'll learn how to add a new logo to the phone branding template and how to position it within the background of the splash screens. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll be working with a new mBank logo that's included in a Photoshop file, but you could also repeat this process with a large EPS file or with a large ping. Obviously, we suggest that you use a Photoshop file because we're working in Photoshop and it makes the process a lot easier. So I've already opened my new mBank logo in a different Photoshop tab here, and I can go ahead and grab this logo just by using my Move tool and clicking on the shape. A really easy way to duplicate one asset from a Photoshop file to another file is to just drag it to the tab bar, hover, and release. You'll notice that it's already positioned within my Photoshop template and it's positioned at the top of the layers list, so it's sitting in the foreground. Because you'll remember that the layers list moves from foreground to background as we work down the list. So something at the very bottom is in the very back. That's why we have this background layer sitting behind everything else. This is important to remember when we begin placing the logo within the groups folders. So now that I've added my mBank logo to the template, what I want to do is I want to position it on top of a background, delete the old mBank logo, and then center it vertically and horizontally. One thing that's really important to remember is that the folders in the layers list include really specific group names that'll help us in exporting layer. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the mBank logo is sitting in the correct folder when we export. The really easy way to do this is to simply use the Move tool, and if we have Auto Select, Layer, and Show Transform controls toggled to on, I can simply click the background layer and it's automatically highlighted over here in the layers list. And if I clicked a different background layer, you'd see that one highlighted too. Just to repeat that process, I'm going to click the background on the store icon ping just to show you where it resides in the layers list. Now that I've got my mBank logo here at the top of the group, I want to move that into this folder, position it above the background, and delete the mBank logo. And you can do that just by grabbing the layer, dragging it, and releasing it. And at this point I can delete that old mBank logo. And you'll see it looks pretty good. It's roughly positioned in the center of the background, but we can actually center it automatically and get it really precise. And to do this, you can just hold Shift and select both layers in the layers list. This way it highlights both of my layers and I can begin to manipulate both at the same time. After I've selected both layers, at the top of the toolbar menu, I can align it using this set of icons here. And the two that we'll use are the align horizontally and align vertically. Now to do this, all I have to do is select both layers and align. And you'll notice that it snaps right into place. Now that I've done that, this splash screen's finished. If I wanted to realign the mBank logo, or if I wanted to make it a little bigger or smaller, I can simply highlight only that layer, and I can come over here and grab a corner of the mBank logo. Now if we just start stretching it, you'll notice that it's kind of manipulating the size and the dimensions, and it's also contorting the way that the logo looks, which isn't something we want to do. We want to always preserve the way the logo looks, no matter how big or how small. And to do that, we can simply hold down Shift as we drag. You'll notice that this constrains the aspect ratio, which makes it really easy to scale an image up or down. And I think that I'm going to scale it to about here. But since I've already centered it vertically and horizontally, I'm also going to want to hold down Alt while I do this so that I scale it from the center of the image. And you'll notice this way it preserves its positioning within the background. And that looks pretty good right there. So I'll hit return. And that's it. We've customized the store icon at 2x.ping. You'll notice that my mBank logo is sitting in the correct folder, and it's sitting on top of the background layer, and it's positioned and sized to the right size. So we're simply going to repeat this process for the other two splash screens in the template. And to do this, I'll need to duplicate my mBank logo, find the background folder, drag it into place, and then align it vertically and horizontally. To duplicate a layer, you can highlight it in the layers list and use the keyboard shortcut Command J. And you'll notice that it creates a copy, names it with the same name, adds copy to it, and positions it directly above the original. It also positions it directly above the original in the work window. So we won't see a duplicate added, but we can grab it and move it around. So I'll grab it and I'll move it roughly into position here over the iPhone P default splash screen. But it's still in the store icon folder, so I need to find the correct folder. And I can do that just by clicking on the background layer, and I see it highlighted right here, iPhone default at 2x. Now I'll come back up to my mBank copy, drag it down into place, and I can delete the old mBank logo. So it's in the correct folder, and it's sitting on top of the correct background, but it's still a little too big. And to resize it, we'll just grab a corner, hold Shift and Alt, and size it to what looks to be about the right size, and hit enter. I'll get it a little closer to the center before I align it. Now I need to hold Shift and highlight both layers in the layers list that I want to align, and then align horizontally and align vertically. Alright, so we finished the iPhone default, and now we'll just customize the iPhone 5. Periodically, it's nice to kind of fold up the folders so that it keeps your layers list clean and easy to work with. So I'll duplicate my mBank logo using Command J. I'll select my iPhone 5 splash screen, and then I'll move my new copy into the correct folder, and I'll grab the copy in the work window and move it into place. I'll delete the old mBank logo, select the new mBank logo, highlight both the background and the logo, and align vertically and align horizontally. And that's it. We've added a new mBank logo, positioned, scaled, and created all our new splash screens.